This is gonna be delish. I am Deborah VanTrece, a chef from Atlanta, Georgia. Prior to becoming a chef, I was an international flight attendant. Through my travels, I've gotten the opportunity to experiment and try so many different cuisines. Woo, we're there, and I like what I'm tasting. Bam! All cultures have comfort food. All cultures have soul food. And that has helped to shape my conversation on food and the soul food community all over the world. Global Soul, a Southern twist on a global dish.
We bring the world together when we cook with soul.
Hi, I'm Chef Deborah VanTrece. The dish today, it's got a lot of history to it, but it actually is a traditional Southern dish. It's country Captain chicken stew. So this stew is a combination of Indian influence on Southern cuisine. We're gonna get started right now. So first we need a chicken. We're gonna do a bone-in chicken for this one. So I have a chicken that's already cut. You can cut the chicken yourself, or you can buy it pre-cut. This one I cut yesterday so I could be ready for this, but I am gonna do a couple of more cuts. I've got my breast. So you got 2 breasts, it's called an 8 cut. 2 breasts, 2 thighs, 2 legs, 2 wings. So when you hear 8 cut chicken, this is exactly what they're speaking of. What's not included in an 8 cut chicken, but is included in the chicken, is the back. People have a tendency to shy away from the back. I, for one, am not a great fan of actually cooking with the back other than for stock. So we're gonna split this in half just to make it easier. And we've got veggies we're gonna be cutting up. So I often talk about making your own stock, your own broth, so we're gonna do it today. I want a deep pan. Does not have to be very big because I only have the back that I'm gonna be using. Let's put the back in the pan. If you'd like at this point, you could brown it off. We're gonna brown it just a little bit. Sometimes a lot of people would prefer, they just throw it in the oven and let it brown for just a little bit of time. But while we move on, we're gonna just sit it in there. No oil, no fat, nothing of that nature. And we're gonna start cutting our vegetables. So this is a stewed chicken dish. It's got, our basic Trinity, mirepoix, got garlic, so the colors will help to brighten the dish. The ends, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna throw that into our pot. All this, seeds, all of it. Let's do a little garlic. Smash a couple. Those that are smashed, I'm gonna throw in the pot. Then I'm gonna do about 3. Gonna mince these. These are gonna actually go into the stew. So although this dish has been around for a long time, it's actually a dish that you don't find very often. A lot of people don't make this. Don't know why, because it's absolutely delicious blend of flavors. So we're looking good. Let's check here what we got. Veggie sweating. A little bit of color. What color does is it does change the color of your broth. So it's gonna give us more golden color into the broth. If that's not a concern, which for me it really isn't. If it's not what you're looking for, then don't worry about browning it. For me, it's also helping to release some of the flavors. But just know if you are looking for a golden broth, the best way to achieve that is by browning either your beef bones, your chicken bones. We're gonna fill this up with water. Let's do a little more. Gonna stick that back on the burner. I'm gonna add some thyme just because I have time. Just gonna do the stems because I need the actual thyme later. So the stems themselves will work. All right, and then I happen to have a bay leaf. Good standard thing to keep in your kitchen. Gonna turn that on low. We're gonna let that work. Next step. Got a Dutch oven. I've already started heating it. Gonna put duck fat. You could use butter. We're gonna use duck fat because duck fat has its own bit of flavor. So just layering a profile of flavors. Do maybe a couple of tablespoons. That should be about right. Put the lid back on. We're gonna season our chicken next. We're gonna take a break and we'll be right back. So I'm adding the one spice at a time. I start with one that I think is going to be my most prevalent spice, seasoned salt. So I wanna see it. I want to have the control. I don't wanna put too much salt on, so I wanna see it. If I start putting other ones on that are darker or they start changing colors, the problem becomes when it comes time to put the seasoned salt on, I can't see it. I can't gauge how much I've put on it. All right, this looks pretty good. So we're gonna stop there on that. I've got garlic powder and onion powder together. This one I'm not too worried about. Now, it's light in color. It's hard to do too much. You can, but it's really difficult. So the art of seasoning, especially proteins, is something that it comes with time. It comes with time. No one can really teach that to you. When it comes down to it, it really comes from in here. It's something that comes from the heart. That is one of the reasons why we call things soul food, because the seasoning process comes from within. And that is so, so important. The more you do it, the more you start getting comfortable with it. You start relaxing, you start feeling it. This here, I've got some cardamom. I'm gonna put a little bit of that. What I had before was cinnamon. Got white pepper. We all know white pepper is got higher heat than black pepper, so you have to be careful. And if you do too much white pepper, you'll never do it again because you'll taste it. Now, the most important piece is the curry. There are so many types of curry. Curry is coming from India. You know, we've got curries that are Jamaican. Everyone can tell you which one they think is the best, but it really does come down to what you think is the one that you like. So my suggestion, try different ones, and you'll land on the one that you decide is the favorite for you. Yeah, I'm going real heavy with the curry. We're gonna probably add more into the actual dish itself, but I do wanna make sure I impart some curry flavor in this actual chicken. So also understand with curry, and the reason there is so many, you know, everyone has a version of it, but all of it is a blend. And that's why some will have more heat. There are some that will have stronger curry flavor, some that will have less. You know, but it's all because each type of curry you get is a blend, and who knows how this person has decided they want to blend it based on how their moms were, how their grandmother was, and maybe someone else who they like how their father blends it. So make sure, no matter what, you get used to the curries, play with them until you land on one that's absolutely amazing to you. We're gonna get this marinating. I'm gonna cover it up, get it in the refrigerator. So let's just take a break now, and I'll see you in just a few minutes. We're back. We are back. I've got that chicken. It looks really good. I got it marinating. We're gonna move on. So I've got a little bit of time before I get started. I'm going to move forward and kind of jump to the end of the recipe. So for this piece, now this is just like a little bit of a garnish item, but I chose peanuts. Why? Because I am in Georgia, where peanuts abound. Typically, it's topped with almonds, but my little soulful influence decided I'm gonna use peanuts instead because that's local to where I'm at. So for this, pretty simple. Just get a pan, put it over heat. We're gonna let the peanuts sit. Put a little bit of salt, just dust it. It's a little bit of seasoned salt. And do a little bit of pepper flakes, red pepper flakes. And I'm gonna keep my eye on it. And you'll see the nuts just starting to brown just a little bit. I don't need oil, I don't need any of that. There's enough oil in the peanuts. This is gonna go fine. We've got a Dutch oven. I think it's the easiest thing to use. I'm gonna grab my chicken. It's been marinating. Let's make sure it looks good. Okay, this looks amazing. It smells really, really good. And it smells like I've got some great curry. Let's keep going. We've got heated oil. We're gonna brown off the chicken. We've got our stock working. And stock generally takes about 45 minutes if it's chicken stock. You can do a lot longer. You can do it even overnight. Yeah, but usually in about 45 minutes to an hour, you have some flavor. All right, we're gonna remove the chicken as it's browned from our pan. We'll return it to the pan soon. I'm gonna turn down my flame. We're gonna start adding veggies. So I've got my chicken over here resting. I've browned it off. Sauteing in those drippings. We want that flavor. We need some tomatoes. So I prefer fresh tomatoes. You can use canned, but why? So let's go with fresh. 3 or 4, depending on the size. Just cut some little wedges. Don't worry about the seeds. I'm gonna add in my tomatoes. And I'm just gonna do a little bit of kosher salt. Wanna make sure we get a little bit of flavor on these tomatoes and the peppers and onions. Stir. Just add the garlic. Now, we're gonna start building the sauce. This is what the chicken is going to simmer and stew in. We've got our veggies. I'm gonna add coconut milk. I'm gonna add some of our stock. So this is about one like 13.5 ounce or 14 ounce can of coconut milk, unsweetened. You do not want sweetened. Instead of straining my stock, because I might need more later, I'm just gonna use a spoon, grab some out. The color is really nice already. This is coming together. We've got coconut milk. We've got our own stock that we made from scratch. So we're gonna pat ourselves on the back for that. It's got about, let's say three cups of that broth. I'm gonna save it just in case I need more for later. We're gonna put the chicken back in. Let's sprinkle a little thyme on top of that. So it's time for this to do what it's going to do. We set this chicken up for success. I'm gonna get cleaned up and get us set up for the next portion of this. We will be right back. We're gonna bring this on home now. So we need to do some noodles. Traditionally, it is served with rice, so you can go the traditional way. You could actually even do this with grits. Yeah, we Southerners think rice and grits are the same thing. But we're gonna use rice noodles just to make ours a little bit different. Just gonna stir the noodles in. And rice noodles cook real quick. Noodles look like they're about where we want them. I'm gonna strain these. Okay, I've strained the noodles. We're gonna dip them right quick, shock them into ice water. We'll let those sit for just a minute. Gonna put on a skillet, medium-high heat. Vegetable oil, olive oil, whatever floats your boat. It's maybe about 2 to 3 teaspoons. We don't need a lot. I'm gonna throw in scallions first. To that, I'm gonna put my noodles in. All right, add a little bit of flavor to the noodles. Just a pinch of seasoned salt. I don't want a lot of color. And then regular salt. Then I'm gonna add peanuts. Our peanuts that we toasted on top of the stove when we first started. And then we're gonna add some cilantro. That. Noodles look amazing. And we need a garnish. So we've got these rice noodles. We're gonna play with them just a little bit. Gonna break them carefully. Got some hot oil. I'm gonna add them to the oil. What we just did was we just took some of the thin noodles and we fried them. Just need a little bit of hot oil and dry noodles. And guess what we're gonna do to the dried noodles? We're gonna add a little bit of seasoning so that even if someone just eats a noodle, the noodle has flavor. All right, we've got all our components. Let's put this thing together. Yum, noodles with the nuts. It is Country Captain Chicken Stew. So we're gonna spoon up the stew. We're gonna put this right over our noodle. Let's top it with the garnish. Just a little bit of parsley. It is our Country Captain Chicken Stew.